Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Two for Talking podcast. We are live right now. We're coming to you. We were going to record our regular thing, but we have some incredible breaking news that is going to shock the world here in Pittsburgh, and that is
we have a new sponsor. Not only is we always have Bill, and thank you for Bill, we have a new sponsor, Danny's Pizza and Hoagies. Yes, I know I talk about it all the time because I'm there all the time. They are pound for pound the best hoagies in the world. Their pizza is amazing. I put their Italian special against anybody's in the world. I've never taken any
figure or Italian special.
Never taken anyone there or anyone that's ever been there that I've said, hey, go there. And then I said, wow, that's amazing. I don't know what they put in those things. And it very is a special sauce. And it's the best. And my dad actually preferred the steak. I don't know. My dad, God rest his soul, he preferred the steak. When you're there, you order a hoagie and you get a cut as you wait. Because the cuts are stupendously awesome. But that is not the big news. I know my dad is listening because the real big news is he finally got his wish inherited.
he's been sitting up there with the big man saying, can we get Mike Tomlin out the door? And good Lord, it actually happened. I mean, one of my notes was going to be to bring up like, man, it kind of felt like Tomlin looked like a guy who was about to resign. But in my wildest dreams, I was like, why would I say that? Because that sounds stupid.
Corey, watching last night, I did have that thought a couple of times. I was watching probably an hour beforehand, the ESPN pregame show, and I showed Tomlin walking out on the field, and he was kind of like taking it all in, looking around. Maybe he always does that, but I remember thinking like, it's a little weird. Like he seems to be soaking this in a little bit. Maybe he knows something we don't know. And even Troy Aikman made some comments at the end of the broadcast, like maybe he said something to Aikman, or maybe Aikman knows something. But I don't think any of us actually thought it would happen. And I know everybody thinks I'm gonna rain on Mike Tomlin right now. I've been very hard on him. He did a lot of great things as Steelers coach, and I don't think we should forget that today.
He was since they've lost, I think since 2016, 17, Pursuit has been banging this drum. They're the fourth best regular season winning team.
Right. And his first 5 years in Pittsburgh were magical. They were. He won a Super Bowl. He got the 2 Super Bowls. He picked up where Cowher left off. They didn't miss a beat for a long time. So I'm not going to, mock the guy or ridicule him. But the truth of the matter is he stayed for way too long. And we're being told he resigned. I guess that was the Adam Schefter tweet. He's out. We know that, whether he was forced to resign, whether they're calling it, like the Penguins basically said Mike Sullivan resigned. He didn't resign. He was fired. That they had a way of wording it, to make it sound good for everyone, right?
No way, Rooney with his stupid hat on up in the upper deck fired Tomlin. Rooney sitting there that was more depressing than the game.
Yeah, it was.
That guy's in charge.
I know. I had the same thought. But listen, this is staggering news. We literally were sitting here 10 minutes ago when the news came across on Twitter. I didn't ever think this day would come. I didn't think Tomlin would ever quit. He's making an enormous amount of money. It felt like he had the job for life. He always has seemed like he very much enjoys the job. Maybe he finally came to the conclusion that this team's a lot farther away from winning a Super Bowl than even he thought. Maybe there's TV networks who are going to pay him something absurd, and that sounded like a more appealing way to live his life. Maybe the fire Tomlin chance really got to him. I don't know why it happened. I'm sure we'll hear from him at some point, but this is one of those moments where everybody's going to remember where they were when they heard it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I tweeted last night that I said this fourth quarter essentially assured that if Mike Tomlin's still the coach at the draft, will be fire Tomlin.
Disaster.
And I didn't think that. I was saying in the office earlier, I was like, I don't see how it would happen. I can't believe that it actually happened. Like this is, like you said, this is going to be that moment where you're like, oh shit. Like Joe, Josh, and I were all sitting in the studio and got the news.
The entertainment value is just incredible. Because oh my God, what happened? They wouldn't be 9-8. Who cares? They're 4-12 5 years in a row. Because you know what? Then they might go 11-5. And how much more fun will that be then? With a different coach and a different quarterback and just a different everything.
Look at the Patriots. And okay, they sucked for a couple years. Now they're right back on top, the 2 seed in the AFC with a great young quarterback. And it does, we're going to talk about the coach today. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers had a bad season by any stretch, but big picture now, there's going to be a new coach coming in, and they need a quarterback so bad. Mason Rudolph's not the answer. 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be the answer.
How much of a dick was Tomlin to Rudolph that he didn't even let him throw at the end of the game? Nothing incensed me more than teams calling meaningless timeouts, especially in basketball. Like, you lose, you're gonna lose. Can we all go home? But not just letting Mason Rudolph air the ball. They're gonna sack him anyway. It's like he was afraid to score any more points.
No, you're right. It's weird. And now we find out all the Tomlin truthers always say, well, he'd have a job in 2 seconds if the Steelers got rid of him.
Time to find
All right,
out.
because guess what? There's 8 job openings now, or so, 8 or 9, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how attractive they all are. A couple of them might be. Would Mike Tomlin go to Baltimore? I'm serious. Lamar Jackson there, that's the one thing he hasn't had in years is a great quarterback. There's a great quarterback there. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm down on Lamar Jackson, but I don't know enough about the NFL to really say. I just never thought he was Joe Burrow, or
Right.
I just like a guy that can throw the ball. Running to me is always then your knees go
Right.
and then or you're always injured. I just think it's funny because I just learned today on Sirius XM that Mike Tomlin always had Bruce Brujo, Barbecue Bruce, sitting in on meetings. It's like,
what's their combined playoff record?
Yeah, exactly. Talking about guys that know a lot about the regular season and nothing about the playoffs. But what's not about Barbecue Bruce though is I think Tomlin is going to be like the Barbecue Bruce. Or, and I just heard today also, or I read today that Gerard Gallant, he was sick and had to leave the KHL, so I bet he might show up in Columbus maybe, but I guess it's not going to happen. But we'll stick to the Steelers. All the Steelers people, oh my God, keep talking Steelers.
We're going to get the hockey, we promise.
But to me, Tomlin is is going to be a Barbecue Bruce. He's going to go in, he's going to make any team better because everyone's going to be happy to play for him. But when it gets right down to actually winning a hockey game or a football game, X's and O's, or drafting somebody, Tomlin doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
That's the big. I always said I love Tomlin Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing with the kneeling and in the COVID and then the players and all any kind of turmoil socially, I thought Tomlin handled perfectly, and I was proud that he was our coach.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, I don't like throwing before 3rd and 8. I don't like throwing 3rd and 2. I don't like that freaking screen pass last night. Did anyone on earth think that was gonna work?
No, nothing about although I will. What's funny though, Joe? I don't blame the coaching at all for last night. They were never going to beat that team. I just think that Houston team that defense was just so physically better than the Steelers.
But they had so many chances
early. They did. You're right. Oh no,
I mean just one.
If DK makes that catch,
it's a completely different game.
Maybe
you're dictating the game.
CJ Stroud wasn't exactly good last night. That's the one. I mean, he was looking to give the game away.
Shout out Danny's, who's now an official sponsor. Penguin Jesus should be our official. Should be an official sponsor of the show too, because Penguin Jesus had the greatest line of all. It's like, did Freiermuth tell Rodgers his wife was fake or make believe? Why weren't they giving Freiermuth?
I know. No, and this goes back.
I mean, that's literally
when
I loved your tweet on John. Please, whoever. I mean,
John O. Smith was high during that game. I'm convinced. He had that look in his eye. There was something going on with that guy. Like he how many times is he confused during the season? He clearly was shocked that the ball was thrown to him in the first. Like, what are you doing?
Think of somebody that has worse chemistry than him and Aaron Rodgers. The two of them are not on the same page ever.
Really bad. Imagine thinking that he was like a number 2 receiver. I mean, he looked worse. He looks worse than Cam Hayward's little brother. I mean, Cam Hayward's little brother looks like he has more offensive skill.
I'd take Connor Hayward and a passing down.
And a lot of this goes back to my biggest problem with Tomlin. I don't think Tomlin's a bad coach. I think in a lot of ways, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. He's not a terrible coach, but he has flaws. And to me, his biggest single flaw was either an inability to hire a good staff or a refusal to hire people who might someday replace him, whatever the case may be. When you look at his staff, it's awful. If you look at Terrell Austin's record as a defensive coordinator, everywhere he's been, it's bad. Nobody thinks Arthur Smith's a good offensive coordinator around the National Football League. There might be worse ones, but he's not good.
I mean,
Right.
really? Is there?
Where do you look at it? And then you go back to Knoll and Cower and the assistants that those guys had, the staffs they could build.
Oh yeah,
It's night and day.
Tomlin's tree is a shrub.
There isn't
The
one.
NFL's
Yeah.
pissing on for the last 10 years. No, like a dog. It's like Rose can't wait to go over there and just wet all over it. I mean, seriously, his tree is terrible. I mean, he's just not a game day coach, and no one has lived in their fears more than him. No,
you're right.
And I was getting arguments with my friends who don't live here. Like, I'm like, field goals are for losers. I go, always take the points. And I'm always like, I'm not talking about when it's 3rd and 15 on the 30. I'm talking about when it's 1st and 10 on the 29 and you run 3 times because you're afraid of, heaven forbid, there might be an interception. When it's you guys have both watched our lovely producer. Everyone's watched enough Steeler games where it's like, we'll dominate for 14 minutes and 30 seconds of a half. And what happens with 2 field goals? Then what happens? Oh, look, pass interference, 7-6 at the half because we settled for field goals.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that they needed that. I tweeted during the game, I was like, this defense is going to have to score. But what really bothered me the most, and this is like a Tomlin problem, so thank God we're going to be out from underneath this, is the game plans are always so perplexing because it's like he wants to get into that rock fight. But last night, the empty set, whenever you're 3rd and 12 and Rodgers gives up, they get sacked and fumble, like, what do you think's going to happen
against that defense?
And I mentioned on the show last week, that team, every time I watched Houston, they never blitz. But with 4 guys on the line, they're closing the pocket in. And on the first freaking play of the game, the Steelers run Jaylen Warren 10 yards, boom, first down. To me, that's the way to win, and they just went away from it.
No, they did, and just I'm not a football X's and O's expert by any stretch, but I know enough to know if you watch the Steelers at the beginning of games and at the beginning of third quarters when adjustments can be made, the other team always seems to have people running wide open on the first few plays of the second half. The Steelers never do. Like, why do you think that is? They're just not a well-coached team, and I'm not blaming all of that on Tomlin. I really think his coordinators are buffoons. I mean that sincerely. I do. And coaching is so important in the NFL. There's not that much difference in talent from whoever the top team, the Seahawks or the Rams, all the way to the Browns. There's not as much as you think. Coaching, to me, plays a massive role. Coaching and quarterback play are the 2 most important things in the modern game. And Tomlin, it's interesting to me. There were kind of 3 distinct eras while Tomlin was here. The first few years, the Super Bowl years, everything was great. Then the middle was kind of Ben in his prime with AB and Lev Bell, put up video game numbers, couldn't really play defense when they had to. And then the third era where they seemed to master the ability to win games 16-13, but in the playoffs, that shit doesn't work.
They still can't play defense when they have to.
You're right. You're right.
That's the thing. And I tweeted last night. I was proud of myself. Remember his big 1st and 10. We have to stop him to get out of field goal range. Who's on the bench? Oh, TJ Watt. Glad you're having a nice Gatorade, TJ.
Whose $41 million salary kicks in next year.
You know what? And I think this is a big point too. And I have nothing against the way Cam Hayward has played this year.
He's been great the last few games.
He's played great this year.
He has.
I think it's good to have a coach that has no loyalty to any of those clowns. Because I would just say goodbye, TJ Watt. And I'm looking right down the barrel of the camera. Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye. How many playoff sacks have you had? As many as me, or victories. As many as me.
I think he's only ever had 1 playoff sack, too, so that's only one more than
he's a big game player. Oh, yeah. He's either a Steeler Hall of Fame. He's not even the 5th best linebacker. Enough. Go somewhere that cares. We rule the North. That's a division. Wait, I'm going to start hanging up championship banners, like division banners like the Carolina Hurricanes. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get lost.
Yeah, the something had to change. It was just getting too far away from what the Steelers are. And I saw somebody, somebody from the Fan tweeted and talked about kids growing up, and I was going to actually write something about it. Might still write something about it on our blog on twofortalking.com. But my kids are growing up getting used to the Steelers getting blown out in playoff games. Like that's all my kids know. And all I could think about was That's how I grew up with the Pirates. Like my dad would tell me how great the Pirates were, but I didn't know. I grew up with the Pirates being a joke, and that's what is happening for the Steelers with my kids.
Well,
And there's a culture change that has to
I said
happen.
this on DV. When I grew up, the Steelers were the Globetrotters.
Oh yeah,
70s. They never lost. It was like when they lost, it was like, oh, it was like the Generals getting their 1 win a year. So no, I think Tomlin's a good man and a good person, and I don't have any problems with him personally, but it was time. It was time to move on. And I certainly blame the Rooneys and the GM more than I actually blame Tomlin, because if they had any nuts, Vrabel would be our coach.
Well, and you bring up
it would have happened 3 years ago.
and you bring up the Rooneys, and boy, they're in the spotlight now because they're the ones picking the new coach. And I don't need to tell anybody how important this decision is. I have no idea who the new coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers will be. I'm sure going to take a few weeks until we know.
Sure, it'll be the cheapest choice.
Well, I mean, that's a concern. And the thing is, if you look at Steelers history, right? Noel, Cowher, Tomlin, all kind of no-names when they were hired. All guys in their 30s, young guys who are not the Ben Johnsons or like, the coach that everybody wanted. So I suspect they will fall back into old habits and try to, locate the fourth in a row. Maybe it will work. I don't know. I don't know if I feel good about Art Rooney leading the charge here, though.
Art Rooney Sr., the chief, knew everybody. Everybody came to see Art.
And so did Dan.
Dan Rooney. Dan knew football.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does Art know?
doesn't have enough juice to have the worst schedule in the world. Art can't get us to not play on Christmas Day.
No, I mean, it's
I'm way more down on him.
Oh, me too.
It's all on him. If he had the nut, he's the one. Oh yeah, TJ won $41 million. And then he's like, oh, he must be paid. I hate Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett with one arm is better than TJ Watt.
Right now he is. That's reality.
But TJ Watt gets double teamed, Josh, and that's just not fair.
So does Myles Garrett.
He gets triple teamed.
And something the Rooneys have never done in their history, they've never hired an offensive-minded coach. Tomlin defense, Cowher defense. Chuck Noll's more of a defensive guy. It's 2026. Might be a really good idea. You need somebody who's a leader of men, and you do. And that was one of Tomlin's greatest strengths, no question. But Tomlin was not an X's and O's guy. I would suggest that the Steelers look into the possibility of finding more of an offensive-minded coach to finally take them into the 21st century. It doesn't mean defense isn't important. It always will be in Pittsburgh. All the teams left in the playoffs can play defense. We know that. But if you don't have some kind of a sophisticated passing game and a relationship with the head coach and the quarterback, look at most of the best teams with McVay and Stafford and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. You can go down the list. In general, that's the way to go.
Well, that's what I mean, Josh. Like, about that they need offense. Like, it's not, I mean, Tomlin probably has his say in things. They didn't have a second receiver for 2 years.
Omar Khan's hands are in this too.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you're right.
They didn't have a second receiver. I think they didn't have a second receiver.
Right.
That's a hanging offense. I mean, most teams have three. We can't even go three wide. We don't have. We had to call in some guys from the Salvation Army. With the Valdez guy and the other white guy, the 6'9" white guy.
Which one?
Who looks older than me? I think, it's like they were ringing the bell for the Salvation Army whenever they called him up. They, hey, can you come catch a pass?
How many third rounders can they miss on?
It was ironic. Christian Kirk killed them last night. The word was they were going to trade for him last year, and then he broke his collarbone. They were going to make him the number 2 receiver, even though he's a little overpaid. And boy, did he kill them last night. But no, I mean, the lack of depth. And DK Metcalf, whose drop was the biggest play of the game last night, he's a good player. I don't think he's some stud number 1 receiver, quite honestly. But behind him, the gap is massive. Like, how can you... All right, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback, and Scotty Miller will be our number 2 receiver. What's going on? Really?
I was going to tweet this last night, but it should be Steeler fans should be beating up... not Lions fans. Should be Steeler fans beating up, whatever his name. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of all of them. I'm glad it's the off season.
Yeah, I mean,
I really am.
And now it's an off season with some excitement and some juice.
Oh, I know. It's an element
got
of
a-
draft. How about the crazy guy from Miami? He knows a little offense. They need a caretaker guy. They need a smart guy on top, which who knows who that is in the NFL. But then they need maybe Harbaugh. But they need the Miami guy, and then they need an ass kicking defensive guy. Not three skinny guys, not the guy whose face is rotting away. So they need somebody. They need like a Ditka or a Buddy Ryan. They need someone that's going to go in there and scream. They need a Coach Ojo from LSU. They need someone that's going to run in there and kick somebody. I mean, they need there's no aggression on that team.
I'm fascinated to see what happens with this coach search because there's all these openings, and there are a couple of big. No, Harbaugh and Tomlin are the two biggest names now, of course. I can't imagine Harbaugh coming. The thing is, they're so similar. I don't know if Harbaugh coming here would really make sense. I kind of view them in the same lens. But I don't know who all is going to be out there. College coaches. I know the guy at Notre Dame was supposed to be what's his name? Career college football guy. The Notre Dame coach.
Ty Willingham.
no, not Ty Willingham. No, the guy that they currently have.
Current Notre
What's
Dame
his-
coach.
I forget his name off
Marcus?
the top of my head. Yeah, Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman, thank you. I know a lot of teams from what we've heard are really interested in him. He already said he's going to stay at Notre Dame.
Like that'll help the Rooney.
That's true.
It seemed like that's their only designation.
Right.
The guy wear a cross, hire him.
Yeah,
His was one of the first names that popped in my head. If he wants to be an NFL coach soon, he will be.
in this place.
I know he's viewed very highly, but I don't know. And history tells us the Steelers aren't going to go out and hire the biggest name out there. That's not what they do. And you're right, that does cost more money. But I'm fascinated to see what happens.
If I was an NFL coach it wasn't begging to be on a team, if it wasn't like my last chance, kind of like I'll throw it back to hockey. That's I really know. Barbecue Bruce looking for another job, or Rick Bonus. If I was a hot commodity guy, like if I was, and I'm spacing now. A thing I do know, the old coach of Dallas. If I was
Tom Landry.
if I was Pete DeBoer,
Oh,
if I was Pete DeBoer of the NFL, there's no way I would come to the Steelers.
Well-
I can't think of one position that they're better than anybody at.
well, and here's one problem. Like,
Other than Peasy's kid,
it was really good.
played great last night.
Yeah.
What's one position where, like, you know what, they were pretty good? Or I think I've heard people I work with, the offensive line came a long way. What? They didn't block it. That one guy, 73, literally got run over.
Yes, he did.
It was the definition of getting run. I mean, the guy's cleats run between the 73 ran right over his face.
And here's one problem for the Steelers. And I know it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there will be people interested. It's the safest job in sports. Any head coach is going to want to come here. But I just said, they really need to think about an offensive-minded guy. Well, what do offensive-minded guys like? They like quarterbacks. Who the hell is the Steelers quarterback next year?
That was going to be my next question.
So that's not easy. If you want to bring in a big-time offensive mind to be your head coach, like, why would they want to come here right now?
And I've heard, the Steelers have a bunch of draft capital to trade up. After Mario Mendoza, the Mendoza lad, after Mendoza, who's next?
Yeah,
I like Ty Willingham. Ty Willingham is not going to be a good NFL quarterback.
We don't know if Dante Moore is going to
Not
come
Ty
out.
Willingham. I'm sorry, Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Dante Moore did not look good the other night, that's for sure. And there's some talk he might stay in school. So
And Sonoris Rice is going back to South Carolina.
It's not a-
that guy.
it's not,
I thought he'd be the quarterback.
it's not a good quarterback draft by all accounts. There's not really any available in free agency. Is Malik Willis a free agent? I know he looked good for a few games. I don't know if you'd take that much of a chance. So that's the problem. If you're coming here, you might have to wait on your quarterback for a year or two. That's not good. Mason Rudolph's not going to take them to the promised land next year, I assure you.
I know we got to get to hockey because there's so much to say about hockey, but in a way, isn't this kind of like Tomlin kind of sticking it to the Roonies?
yeah,
It's kind of like, you know what? We stood by you through all your problems, and you're haven't won a playoff game, and now you're sticking to us whenever we don't have a quarterback. No one's gonna,
I mean, do you think there's any chance Aaron Rodgers comes back now that
No.
Tomlin's gone? Like,
He loves Tomlin, so
I thought it was like a 50-50 he might come back beforehand.
Me too. I would think this makes it less likely.
Like,
It seems like Aaron likes to be surrounded by his people, and he really liked Tomlin. They worked well together. They both speak very affectionately of one another. I think Rodgers is probably going to retire anyway. I think this makes it probably more likely. I don't know.
If I was Rodgers, I would never come back here because they're nowhere near the Super Bowl. If I was Rodgers, I would hang out and wait and see if like a really good team's quarterback got injured halfway through.
Maybe Minnesota will bring him in for a year if they're.
Oh yeah,
I think McCarthy's going to work.
He got screwed I think Rodgers got screwed by the Steelers. I don't think there's any way when he signed in April, he was thought for a second he'd have to go out and get his own receivers.
Well, I know.
He literally did. There was no receivers to be had.
Yeah, and I was okay with it at the time, but I'm gonna reverse field a little bit here. I know George Pickens is a psychopath. Would it have hurt to have kept him for 8 more months? Let him and DK play together. Give Rodgers some real weapons, maybe. Like, what was the thinking there? Like, if you're going to trade him, fine, bring in DK, but you still needed another receiver. They never got one. Calvin Austin, it seems like a nice kid. He's like 5'4". Yeah. Like, that's not a number 2 receiver. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and George Pickens, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to end up losing in the wild card.
Oh
yeah, punching a fan, losing in the first round. Like,
right.
Like, George Pickens never punched a fan.
Right. I know George was a problem. I get it, but you still need talent. And I didn't mind the trade at the time. I assumed they would replace him, but they didn't.
Yeah, and I thought, well, Rodgers can feed both those guys. It's not like he won't have the time to feed. Well, he wouldn't have the time. He only has 2 seconds to throw the ball. But maybe Pickens just got sick of running the screen passes.
That could be.
Work.
That could be. So I wonder if the entire coaching staff gets wiped out now. I assume when you bring in a head coach, you're going to let him pick his staff.
Yeah.
So this could be a completely different field.
Well,
for the Steelers.
thank God.
Yes.
Get rid of all of it. That's why I was happy when Rodgers was picked. Hey, I know him I met him a couple of times. He was a great guy. But I want a new offense.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you speak for all of Western Pennsylvania and Steelers fans worldwide when you say you want a new offense. I mean, it's been archaic forever. There's no imagination. There's no nothing. So this is a fascinating day in Steelers history, and one that I did not expect, but one that I'm kind of glad has arrived.
It's wild. It's wild. Well, before we go any further, we're going to get into some Penguins talk because that's what this show is really all about. Just happened to work out that way. Mr. Bill Neofis, he probably had a couple things to say about the Steeler game last night, did he not?
Yeah, he did. But Bill's actually a Tomlin fan, so he's probably not taking the news as well as we are. But Bill loves the Steelers, and when the Steelers lose in the playoffs that next day, like, I got gassed this morning. Everyone was just like walking around with their heads down. Like, it really does. I believe it was Meyer and Cope who once said when the Steelers lose, when the Steelers win on Sunday, the sun comes up on Monday, I think was what he wants to famous. And it's true. And the opposite is true as well. There's a lot of very upset people walking around today. Bill, one of them, of course. But listen, if you give Bill a call, he's still going to be friendly as ever because that's who he is. He, of course, is our OG sponsor. Since we have multiple sponsors now, we're big time now, I guess. But the Neofis Insurance Group, led by our great friend Bill, whatever your insurance needs are, I don't care what it is, home insurance, car insurance, go down the list, any kind of insurance you can think of. They're going to take care of you. Located very near our new studio here in the North Hills. Give our man Bill a call. It's 412-364-3388. I'll give you the number one more time. 412-364-3388. Our man Bill and his unbelievable staff, who are sincerely the nicest people you'll ever meet, they will take care of you.
So if you ran your car off the road, enjoy.
At about 2:10 p.m. with a new car.
This afternoon, I hope you had Bill Neofis on.
We got a drunk Steeler fan high-fiving people on McKnight Road. He's pulled over. We don't know if his car is starting or not.
He's trying to get through to his insurance agent. So by the way, for those of you that are watching on the live stream, I know there's a little bit of a technical difficulty with my microphone, so I might be a little bit quiet compared to them.
Yell, Corey.
That's all right.
Christ.
I'll yell as loud as I can, but we do have the audio for the podcast, so don't stress. And Joe and Josh are fine. But I wanted to bring this up before we get into Eric Carlson's injury. That's big news, and we get more details there. But Kevin Hayes, I'm sorry, is the reason he's been inserted so sporadically into the lineup so that he could play in his 800th game in Boston in his hometown? I'm sorry, he seems like a nice guy. I don't give a crap. I'm trying to make the playoffs. And when I saw that, Joe, you text, I was so mad I couldn't even reply. When you said text it, I was like, I can't handle this.
Yeah, it seems like a Make-A-Wish project with Kevin Hayes every time he's on the ice. And my mother is like, you're on it, Kevin Hayes. I go, Mom, every time he touches the puck, something goes wrong. And then she was finally listening. If you listen close enough, every time his name is mentioned, something goes wrong. It's either, oh, the puck went over Hayes' stick. Oh, Hayes didn't get to the puck. Hayes was late.
Well, I don't really think it was a premeditated plan to get him his 800th game in Boston, even though it was rather ironic that he hurt. I mean, Rusty got hurt. I think that's all there is to it. But I will say, listen, I like Kevin Hayes on a personal level. Wonderful guy. Everyone in the room likes him. Not only can he not play anymore, but he sure as hell shouldn't be on the second line. I really believe that the Penguins coaching staff just outthought itself significantly here. You've got the Malkin, Brazo, Mantha line that we know works. And for all the people who have tweeted at me, said, Gino's shoulder's hurt, he can't take faceoffs. Gino's running people after goals are scored. I think his shoulder's okay.
Yeah.
Like, well, Bedard's not taking faceoffs. Okay, that doesn't mean they have the same injury. Gino's fine. They're just outthinking themselves. They're trying to get clever. Gino can play wing, sure. Novak can play center, sure. Kevin Hayes should not be on a top 6 configuration in any way.
I tweeted this. And I think they might listen. If Kyle,
Hi, Kyle.
and Dan, if Kevin Hayes is truly one of the 12 best forwards, not one of, one of the 12 best forwards in the Penguins organization, just shoot me in the head, because I can't take it. That's all. It's because we're 6, 9, and 7 with Hayes in the lineup. We're 14, 4, and 2 when he's in the press box.
I think
15, 4, and 2.
Yeah, the numbers.
I go, if Rust is hurt and whatever, Gino gets a flat tire, go 11 and 7. He's a deficit, and I hate 11 and 7 for the record. He is terrible. He slows down every line. Putting him in the second line and having Gino move to wing, maybe thought Muse had a vote on the top 100 players of all time. Like, how do you do that? I've never seen Gino disrespected as much since that list.
When I saw the line combinations for the Sunday game in Boston, I kind of did a double take when the Penguins tweeted. I'm like, what? Like, what? Why? You've got this line that works. You can play Sid with Raquel, and you can put anyone else. Put Novak on that line. Try Chinnikov on that line. I kind of would have liked to have seen that, actually.
So far, so good with him.
And instead, 3 of the 4 lines get screwed off. And wherever you put Hayes, it's a problem. Hayes was playing with Achari one game. Like, you can't have those two together. It's too slow. That's not going to work. Like, you know, Hayes and Malkin don't work because for all that Gino still does a lot of great things, he's not very, it's too slow.
He can't handle the puck. I don't care how
he can't take a pass. You're right.
He can't take a pass.
That's you're right. I mean, you can get away with being slow if you can still do some things. He's big, great. But there have been 7 or 8 times probably this season where, like, it's a perfect pass to Hayes. His hands weren't there.
And you can't tell me that he's more valuable to this team than Boko Imama would be.
Oh, give me Boko all day.
Especially when I look at the schedule this week and I know who's coming to town on Thursday night.
And last night, Tampa Bay they had like 4 fights against Philadelphia because, Sandheim totally cheap-shotted, totally took out Point's knee.
Yeah.
And if you don't think Talk is going to have those creamsicles do that to Sid and Gino, you're crazy. We need Boku up here now.
No, I agree with you. And Hayes, I think Hayes is a perfect, healthy scratch every night. The guys like having him around, fine. Good locker room presence, fine. He's not helping you on the ice. He's just not.
Then make him one of those stupid assistants to the GM that goes out to Giant Eagle and hands out pucks.
He could be a greeter.
Yeah, he's freaking worthless. Colvin, why? Oh, I know Colvin was getting his shot off. At least he's there. At least he can take a freaking pass.
Well,
he looks like me at South Park. No, he's awful, guys. He is literally, he's up to Brassard level of how much I hate him on the Penguins.
Wouldn't you like to find out about Tristan Brose?
I would love to see him. I've been waiting for him all year.
Right? Avery Hayes is down there, ready to play. I mean, there's guys in Wilkes-Barre who can help. Who and you're supposed to be finding out about these young players anyway. Now, I'm not. Listen, you're in a playoff race.
We were in the playoff race.
Well, they still are. They're a point outer, but they're fine. But if that's the number one priority, then you can't just be bringing up all the young guys and testing them out. I understand that. But if it's between Kevin Hayes, when you already know what you're going to get, or a young guy, I think it's a pretty obvious choice.
I mean, other than his shootout goal, he's done nothing productive for this team.
And my biggest problem, Joe, my biggest problem is defensively how bad he's been.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's always late on the. It's been his guy.
Many
times.
Yes, literally. It's too many. Once or twice, fine.
You're a fourth line guy. You're barely on the. You should be eating. You should be the first guy hustling back. He acts like he's one of these guys that we've had in the last 4 or 5 years that acts like they've won 3 cups.
Yeah.
And it incenses me.
Yeah.
You were in Columbus, you loser, when we were winning cups. You were a creamsicle when we were winning cups. So don't pretend like you've done a goddamn thing for this organization.
Joe's worked up.
Well, I tell you what,
Joe's worked up.
I really am. Now, bros, I've been begging for bros, but you know what? We don't bros now. We need a mama.
yeah. I mean, like you say,
They're coming to town.
Yeah, and
especially Thursday night.
And listen, as good as the fourth line has been, you don't need to leave them together. You can move Lazada up to the third line center for a game.
He's getting paid like a third line.
Right. You can move him up. That's okay. He's not going to stink just because he's away from Connor Dewar. Like, you don't need, I understand that line works, but for certain games like Thursday against Philly, especially when you have people out of the lineup, I think it makes perfect sense to bring Boko up. And by the way, as we say all the time, Boko has not hurt the Penguins. Like, he hasn't done one thing that's hurt the Penguins when he plays. He's actually a little bit of a better hockey player than I think most of us realized.
Oh, he was great last year. He had a terrible camp, but his showing this year has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And even if he was mediocre, you still need a nuclear deterrent when you play the teams that are going to hurt you. And he needs to put Hathaway into the wall.
Yeah.
Garnett Hathaway, born to be a flyer.
I mean,
has anybody ever been born to be a flyer like him?
Not in a while.
I mean, it's just, this is not the week, because this was a lost weekend, my friends. We thought that homestand was a lost homestand. You gotta beat the Calgary organization.
That's the bad one.
How do you get 0 out of 4 points?
You kind of knew they were going to lose in Boston, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
You could feel it, that kind of momentum swing, the way this team goes, the way it fluctuates. Losing in Boston they didn't play a terrible game.
And it's no crime.
No, they didn't play a bad game. I mean, they got goalied a little bit in that game. They were shorthanded the other half of the game. But the Calgary game, you can't come out that flat at home. As a sellout crowd, by the way. You're playing one of the worst teams in the league. You've won 6 in a row. That's no time to come out flat. Those are the games that are going to burn you in April when you look at the standings. But I would also suggest that might just be who the Penguins are. Like, people, how do you lose to a team like that when you just beat a good team? Well, because they're an average team.
Yep.
Average teams lose to bad teams sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe that's what we're looking at.
It was a bad pass by Shea.
Oh, terrible.
And it was in a bad pinch by Letang, who has been playing better the last 4 or 5 games.
Yes.
But we are kind of bearing the lead, because now without Carlson, the last thing I want is Letang to get more ice.
Yeah.
But, by the way, the Erik Karlsson thing, terrible timing, Joe. You said you walked in the studio. You were like, playoff loss, and then wake up to the news from Josh that Erik Karlsson's on IR. I don't think that's what anyone in Pittsburgh really needed this morning. But where did this come from? I didn't even know it was.
I don't know. We know he got hurt in the Boston game, and all we have been told is that Karlsson will be evaluated in 2 weeks. That doesn't mean he's coming back in 2 weeks. That means he's being evaluated in 2 weeks. That's troubling, just the way they worded it.
By the Swedish doctors.
Well,
They'll be
and that's the thing. 2 weeks from now is what, January 27th?
Yep.
So that's after the Western Canada trip. So we know he's not playing in Western Canada, and the Olympics start, 2 or 3 weeks after that? So yeah, just on a personal level for Erik, that's important to play in the Olympics. And I'm not saying he won't be able to play in the Olympics, but when you look at the timeline now, there's some question marks, some gray area there. And as for the Penguins, Joe, I think other than Crosby, he's been their best player. I really believe that, and probably their most important player. So now you're losing him, and you're putting Letang into an even bigger role. Presumably he'll be quarterbacking the power play.
He's been terrible at that for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just not having a good season. He has been better. Since the Christmas break, I would say he's been noticeably better, so that's good. If ever there were a time for him to turn back the clock and to play some good hockey, they need to just survive without Karlsson right now.
I think Karlsson has played so well that it's blown up our expectations of this season. I think he's played so well. I think he's done so much in the offensive zone and added so much to our offense. I mean, that might be why the top line looks good when they look good. I think that's definitely why the mutant line looks good. I think he's been keeping pucks in. He's driving play. He's getting the puck out. He's playing the penalty kill.
Been better on the power play too.
We couldn't have even imagined that he would have played this well this year. And I think he's literally, if you took I think kind of outstanding goaltending we didn't see coming. I think Carlson playing almost Ottawa level Carlson is the next reason why we've had such a good season so far.
Someone asked me a couple of weeks ago why the Penguins were so much better this season. The first thing I said was Erik Karlsson. He's twice the player he was last year. He's on the ice 25 minutes a night. Like, he and Wotherspoon have given you a legitimate number one pairing. That's a really big deal, and you're going to notice it more than anywhere else, I think, just in terms of 5-on-5 offense. It's going to be hard for the Penguins to create offense without him. He does so many little things that people probably we don't even notice.
That's
without that,
much better way of saying what I was trying to say. Yeah, just keeping the puck in with his flair for keeping the puck in.
He's a one-man breakout. Like, he helps you in so many ways.
He drives the offense, and I certainly don't want Letang trying to do that.
Yeah, well, but he's going to have to some extent. That's the problem, because if he doesn't, who else?
No offense.
Who else is there?
Yes, but
I know what you mean, but
no, but we've always said, you know what? I'd rather just have 6 Wotherspoons and let everybody else score than having Letang up ice. Well, it's like, I'd rather just win a 2-1 game now, because they're not going to win a 6-5 game with Letang.
No, they're not going to win those, period, right now. And I was thinking about Letang, like, knowing his personality the way we do. No Karlsson tonight against Tampa. You mentioned the Globetrotters earlier. Don't you feel like Letang's just going to go into Globetrotter mode tonight? I could see it.
I think
don't you remember me? I'm Crystal Tang.
I think Letang's going to win the Masters tonight. Just 4. Give him the green gel.
And it is a scary matchup tonight. The Bolts have won 10 in a row. They did play last night. That's the one thing helping the Penguins. They've won 10 in a row, and the Penguins beat them in December down there in a great game. Boy, were they outplayed in that game, though.
That was the Gino Machino.
He scored the game winner. He got hurt that game. Jari was unreal that night. They had no business winning that game.
No.
That's not an easy matchup for them. Tampa, on paper, is probably the best team in the East right now. I think we can agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they always play well in Pittsburgh. This is really tough matchup, especially without Karlsson.
Well, especially Jake coming out of a Flyers game. We know how much Jake. I mean,
he had a big game last night too.
Jake looked like he's a true Penguin still, even though he's down in Tampa.
He was causing all kinds of trouble late in that game, like lashing people on the back of the legs.
I love it.
We have so much to talk about. There's so many points to talk about. Should we?
Joe made notes today.
Oh yeah, we should get. Yeah, we've got. Yeah, Joe's got.
Joe with his notes.
He's next level.
He's not a comedian. This guy.
Well, what's funny is you don't see him when I'm at home because I haven't been.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always check.
What was funny, I was telling Alex which we'll get to here from Danny's. I said this is like the 3rd or 4th time we've all been in the same room. and hopefully it happens more often, but we'll get to the Evgeny Malkin extension talk in your mailbag, Josh. I thought that was interesting, and then the actual extension that happened, Blake Lizotte. I think we could touch on that. But again, we mentioned at the top of the show, the most important news of the day is that our new sponsor is Danny's.
Yeah, Danny's Pizza and Hoagies at 5159 Library Road, Buffalo Park. Basically, if you're going out Route 88, it's right before you get to South Park. Right before you get to South Park,
right
on the left side, I'm up the right. It's a Danny's Pizza and Hoagies.com. Instagram is Danny's Pizza Hoagies, and it was established in 1960. They've been around that long, and everyone has their Danny's memories. If you live in the South Hills, it was just on Rick Seaback. There's people in South America who are like, you live in Pittsburgh? Oh, you've been to Danny's, right? I mean, it's like, the pizza's fabulous. The square, I love the square cuts too, as well as the round pizza, but absolutely, positively, the Italian hoagie.
It's my favorite too.
It's the best.
It's unbelievable. And I have to say this, and I'm not kissing up because they're a new sponsor. I mean this sincerely. We say it about Bill all the time. They are the nicest people on earth. They really are. Penguins fans. Our man Alex at Danny's, a huge Penguins fan. Just the kindest people you ever want to meet.
His whole family, his mom and dad, his sister, they are really the best. And we always say how Bill likes to talk hockey. You go in Danny's. no matter how busy.
Talk hockey.
Alex comes out from behind wherever he's.
Yeah, they could have like 30 people on. Hey, what the hell's going on with the power play? Right?
Yeah.
True.
Or complain about
Pittsburgh people,
Alex will be right there with you.
The thing I like about it too, I heard from Alex, whatever we were talking about, I was asking about the history of it. He says, my uncle showed me whenever I took over how to make this sauce, and he's like, I will never change that. Like make the hoagie. He's like, that hoagie is a staple, and it is like written down in science. It's etched in stone, and I love that's what we love about Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. I mean, everyone I've ever taken to Danny's are like, the hoagie's it's incredible. It's an incredible experience, and people are like, they're like, oh my god, what is in this thing? And it really is only 2 people know the secret.
Yep.
And the steak is just as good. And the pizza, the pepperoni is great there.
I've stuffed my.
Overall, it's just a great thing.
Yeah.
And Joe Bartnick guarantees you will have an incredible dining experience.
And keep an eye out for the box here. And I'm not going to give anything more away, but you might want to be buying some Danny's Pizza because in a couple months there'll be something you'll see.
You will anyway, but it really,
it's the best.
I love Alex. I love Danny's. I would be talking about them this way. You guys know for the last couple years anyway.
We do talk about them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain places we like. I've stuffed my face at Danny's more times than I care to admit. I live like 5 minutes away. It's hard not to.
I know. It's like my mother's always just like, you're going to Danny's? Yeah. Like, she gets mad when I always stop. I always get the appetizer cut, but you have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
You gotta get the appetizer.
Get a little bit. So Danny's, Alex, we appreciate you. We appreciate your family, and
welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that we didn't even get into it on the phone, but I'm sure he was pretty happy to hear about the Blake Lizotte extension. And ironically, when I saw that, I thought to myself, I think last week we were just talking about like, well, you got to sign him in the summer. And Kyle, I guess he does listen to the show.
Well, Mr. Dubas, I appreciate you signing Mr. Lizotte. I think I know Josh put in his column or one of his stories that, you like a hungry fourth line. I've always said I like my fourth line living in a hotel across the street from the arena, not working on their like summer home,
right?
I.e. Kevin Hayes with a contract.
It all comes back to Kevin Hayes.
But I think 2.5 is reasonable. He's not going to get too, not too high up on the hog at 2. I actually think I think he would earn more on the open market.
I do too.
He must like it here. So good. I like Blake Lizotte.
No, I do too. And I was a little surprised. I was really irritated. You mentioned my mailbag. Somebody asked me in the mailbag, it literally published an hour before the news came out, if I would like give them a, look into new contracts for the fourth line guys. And I said, no, well, you can wait until the end of the year. It's not like people are going to be knocking down your door for them. Then I see, like, look on my phone. Jesus, let's odd 3-year deal. Thanks, Kyle. Now there's always going to be some person in the comment section. Oh, you're real in touch with the Penguins. Like, okay.
Is this a trade bait though? Nah, someone has them locked up for 3 years.
No,
being devil's advocate.
I mean, you never know, but I don't think so. Listen, the salary cap's going to skyrocket. It's going to be up to like $100 million pretty soon.
Yep.
So you're looking at like 3% of your salary locked up in this guy moving forward. That's nothing really for a guy who is still in his 20s. And I just look at how hard he plays every night. I love his game. I really do. That's the kind of people you want to have on your team. It's the kind of people you want young players learning from. He's a good locker room guy. He just works his butt off every game. The Penguins, you mentioned the Penguins record with and without Hayes. It's the exact opposite with Lizotte. They're so good when he's in the lineup. Yeah. They are way over 100-point projection with him in the lineup. Now, I understand that's skewed a little bit. That'll come down, but he is a valuable guy. He's the best fourth-line center they've had since Matt Cullen by far. It wasn't necessary right now, but to get him for $2.25 million, I think it is.
Yeah,
it's so cheap. Why not?
Absolutely, and I just hope he becomes friends with Boko Imama. I hope I hope they're good friends. No, you know what? And like Dewar as well, the Rusty Nail, they both enjoy playing on the fourth line. They don't have these aspirations. Well, really, I'm a second liner, and why am I doing this dirty work? Which is what you need to have in a fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that accept their role.
Not like a Derek Brassard, right?
Oh yeah, he didn't understand why he's a third line center. Oh well, you're behind two Hall of Famers.
You got to be
careful. You're from Ottawa.
I remember a conversation I once had many years ago with Phil Esposito. I can't repeat all the conversations I've had with him, but he said one time, like, I don't like fourth liners over the age of 30. I just don't. I want hungry guys who want to get paid.
Right.
So you want on your fourth line. So you have to be careful with how many veterans you bring back in that role. I would not bring Achari back after this season, even though he's been pretty good. Dewars, okay, he's solid, sure. For the right price, maybe. But you don't want to block guys in Wilkes-Barre when they're ready because you got to get some youth on this team.
Well, I think that's the problem with Dewars. I think they picked which one of the, because I think Achari's only when he gets slower. He is a cigarette machine. Right. He's like trying to push one. you dropped your phone behind this cigarette machine. Right. Yeah, because I obviously need Bros up. They need the other Hayes up. They had the Javi Pinar guy was up for a cup of coffee. Everybody's coming back. That he didn't. I guess he didn't get Dubas' coffee fast enough in practice. You come up, not play a game, and get sent back down.
You can't sign too much. But Lazat's 28, I think. Yeah, he's still fairly young, so that's okay. But you don't want to block guys coming up from Wilkes-Barre in the next year or two. And also, as great as the fourth line has been, you can still always find better players, even than them, even though they've been good. Like Dewar, Lazat, and Achari's not like the top of the mountain, even though they've exceeded anyone's reasonable expectations. But in Lazat's case, they've got so much money to spend, and they have an absurd amount of cap space right now. He's a good player. He's been a good fit, and he should have a few years left in him at this level. So I certainly see why.
It's almost like a nice little gift for how hard he's played this year.
And you know what?
Because for 2.25, it's like, that's, it's fine.
It is, but I also think it's a good thing for players to say, we get rewarded here if we play really hard and we play well. Like that listen, you can dangle that carrot a little bit. That's not the end of the world. Guys do appreciate seeing their teammates get rewarded like that.
Yeah, and I love a player like Blake Lizotte. The interesting thing about fourth lines, third lines, but it happens to them more than the top lines. But you never know what you're going to get year to year. You know what I mean? Like the chemistry can kind of come and go.
Same as goaltending.
It's just like the HBK line. It was like that was unbelievable. And then the second cup year, it was like, the magic wore off.
Yes, it did.
But having somebody like Blake Lizotte around, and I love having college guys like that around. I think that's big. So, and it's going to become more the thing as we go here. The other thing, Josh, in your mailbag, somebody asked about the Evgeny Malkin extension, and you had some interesting stuff in there to say. I'll just, touch on because you can get into more detail, but it sounds like, Gino wants back. He'll just come back. He'll do whatever to play one more year. Personally, I think he has earned it. But what are you hearing on the Gino extension?
Well, I know for a fact that last summer there were no plans for the Penguins to bring him back. I know this for a 100% fact. I also know that he's played better this season than anybody could have expected. He's been better than a point per game?
Yep.
And I know that Malkin doesn't want to retire. He knows he's close to that point. But I don't think he wants to retire, and I know for a fact he doesn't want to play for any other team. And I have heard that he would take a 1-year contract for a far reduced rate next season. He's making $6.1 million for one more year. He would take a pay cut. I have heard that he would, he'll take a bottom six role if he has to, just to hang around, just to keep playing in Pittsburgh. Now I look at it and I say, well, what second line center are you going to get who's better next season? I think that's a fair question. It's not like the free agent market is, dripping with guys who are going to walk in here and put up 70 points. At the same time, I can play devil's advocate and say, like, is he going to be that good next year at 40? Don't you have to get younger at some point? Isn't that the whole point right now? So you can look at it from either way, but more than anything, I know Malkin really wants to come back, and I think one of the reasons he's so motivated right now and playing so well, yes, he wants to play in the playoffs with Sid one last time, and that's a big deal to him. But he also wants to say to Kyle Dubas, hey, watch me. I can still play.
Yeah. I'm a Gino guy. I've been a Gino guy forever. I don't think it's helping his cause that he looks lost on the wing.
He does. I know.
I don't think it's helping his cause that he's never been known as a Selke contender.
No.
So, saying I will play down the lineup and actually doing it effectively are two different things. You kind of want to have a third line that can check a little bit, play a little more defense, not kind of just, hey, these are the guys that didn't make the top six. So they're going to kind of like what we have now. They don't really have a method of madness.
Mm-hmm.
I want Gino back if he would take a reduced role. I mean, let him be Hayes, for heaven's sake. I just want to have him on the team. But I think what we're going to have exponentially a lot of money next year. I think there has to be, if Dubas has expectations. I know Sid and Pat Person have expectations. If you have expectations that we're going to be a playoff team next year, I think you have to think that there is a big time number 2 center that you can pay for.
Well,
or bring under the umbrella, even if it's a first round pick and bros, right?
Mm-hmm.
For somebody, you have to think they're going to get a $10 million guy that can play better than G. Even though Gino's played good this year. I mean, a hurdle, or I'm somebody that's gonna.
Well, remember this about the Penguins too. They have an enormous amount of money to spend this summer. They've also got a lot of draft picks they can use as trade ammo.
That's what I'm saying.
So they have options. You're also going to have Sidney Crosby and Pat Person making it really clear to Kyle Dubas that they would like Evgeny Malkin to be a Pittsburgh Penguin next year. I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Right.
And people can wave their hand at that, but put yourself in Dubas' shoes. It's a little different when you've got those guys letting you know how they feel about a subject. So I don't know how it turns out. I can tell you that during the Olympic break that Malkin's representatives are going to sit down with Kyle and they're going to talk. I wouldn't necessarily expect extension news then, although it's possible. If they're going to extend him, it might just happen then. If it gets to after the season and there's no deal.
I can tell you this, that if Gino really can fully turn down his ego, there's no way on earth that he will be worse next year than Kevin Hayes was this year.
Well,
no.
And I should mention.
No, I'm just saying, as a guy, spot duty, coming, oh, hey, someone pulled a groin, can you play second line center for two weeks?
Do you think he'd play third line center and just be okay with that? Even if you bring somebody in, I understand, but
maybe
Ben Kindle.
Do we want Malkin as a third line center, though?
I don't know.
Help you in a bottom 6 role. That's my question.
I'm still debating in my mind if Ben Kindle is a true number 2 center.
I think he will be in 5 years. I don't know if he will be next year.
He needs to go to Permanis.
He's still a kid.
And Danny's. And everywhere else.
And I should mention.
You know what I mean? He needs some weight.
Because Kevin Hayes has been the topic du jour, just based on the morning skate configurations, it looks like he's out tonight, by the way. Looks like Rusty's back tonight. So.
Oh, well, that's huge.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be back. He was on the top line in practice this morning. Ben Kindle, by the way, was centering the Twin Towers. He was with Mantha and Brazo.
Okay.
Malkin was with Chinnikov and Novak. So it looks like that's your top. And the fourth line stays put. So.
See, I'd like Chinnikov.
Which is okay.
I like Chinnikov and Novak together with Gino. I know that's not the twin. I know it's not the mutant line, but Gino has a little chemistry with both of those fellas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should talk about Chinnikov for a second. This dude's got talent.
I know.
When this guy shoots the puck, it gets your attention.
How many goals does he have with us?
Two or 5 games?
Yeah.
They've one on the breakaway, one on the 2-on-1 with Gino. And he just, on that 2-on-1 with Gino against Calgary, he looked like a guy who had done that a time or two before. The way he positioned himself for the pass, the release, the velocity of the shot, whoa. And this guy's an interesting talent. I want to see him with Malkin or Crosby from time to time, at least, to see what kind of chemistry is there, because he's got some game-breaking talent, guys.
Yeah. And also, I think Kindle is really a great passer.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he can set up those the two big boys. I don't mind that at all.
It's fine. No, I don't have a problem with it. Kindle's not scoring goals right now, but I don't feel like he's playing poorly, and he's so good defensively. I always say that about him. He can go 10 games without a goal. It's okay, because he's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
He always helps you somewhere on the ice, and I think the Olympic break's going to be big for him. I talked to him last week, Joe. I said, how's your body? He goes, okay. I'm like, you looking forward to that break? He goes, oh, yeah.
Well, Kindle, Novak, and Igor look like the line of misfit toys. They didn't quite look like they all fit together.
Right.
Whereas Gino and Novak and Chinnikov actually look like they kind of play a little bit better together. It's at least Chinnikov and Malcolm play better together. And Novak's quietly had a nice couple months.
He's a jack of all trades, Novak. You can kind of put him anywhere and he'll be all right. You can put him at center, put him at wing, put him top 6, bottom 6. He's okay right now.
Guys like that are so valuable.
They are, but the main thing for Joe, it appears that Kevin Hayes will be up in the press box with me, and I hope he was not watching the podcast.
I would avoid.
No, I get along with Hayes. It's all right. He's got a good sense of humor. I'm sure he'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
We can have him on the show. I don't care.
Well,
He seems like a nice guy.
hey, well, does Hayes watch the games? I mean, it's like, I know when I have a bad set. Like, I mean, you have to be, he has to know.
Sometimes I write an article. Jesus Christ, did I just write this? Oh, no. We've all been there. It's fine.
I mean, I know he's trying, which almost makes it worse.
He'd rather it be for lack of effort.
So is Bros in the lineup? Is he or no? Or he's doing the Henry Pinard, come up and enjoy the catering.
I believe that's the case for tonight. Yeah. Progress.
Will he be in the lineup this week at all?
Probably. I would guess somebody's going to get hurt, or they're going to want to get a look at him at some point. You got to let the young guys play a little bit, right? I know you're trying to get into a playoff spot, and that's priority number one. But boy, the only issue I have really with this whole season for the Penguins, other than Kindle, who's been wonderful, what other young guys have really helped their cause this season? Like, it's really been the older guy. It's been guys like Malkin and Carlson turning back the clock a little bit, and that's great. But you kind of like it when you feel a little more comfortable about the next couple of years of like Rucker McGroarty and Ville Koivunen were playing a big role in all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Rucker was playing okay.
He was.
I didn't have a problem with
Better than Koivunen.
for sure. Although Koivunen, I wish he was around this weekend.
Yeah.
It would have helped. So it really looks like Omama's not coming up. So I don't want to feed Bros to the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if Flyers is the way you.
Probably not. Well, that's fair. And I'm expecting that game Thursday night to get a little wild. There's some real bad blood between the Penguins and Flyers right now in a way that there hasn't been in years, right? And I think Zegras has played a big role. I know for a fact there are a few guys in the Penguins locker room that would like to have a conversation with him Thursday night. So I think if you're looking to buy tickets for a game, I think Thursday night might be the way.
And that's why you have to have Omama. That's why he has to be up.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I know and I guess Gravy's up, right?
Yeah, great.
He had a big goal this weekend. I saw the highlights.
He did. He was also like a -4 that game, but I mean, I'm sure it wasn't his fault.
Of course not. I know Letang was in Wilkes-Barre doing double duty.
Right. No, I don't think Graves is going to be in the lineup tonight.
Okay, well, let's get settled in.
I think Clifton and St. Ivany are both going to play probably. So, but I'm telling you, the loss of Carlson, there's a trickle-down effect there that's a real problem.
Yeah, that's the type of thing where you're like, is this something's going to sink this season? Like, I hope it doesn't happen. Just, that's one of those blows where you're like, when you look at a lineup and you go, who can we not lose?
My first thought was if Carlson misses 10 games or whatever it may be, like they better go 500 without him. He's that important.
This is such a test show pilot of whenever all summer, they should have got rid of Malkin. Malkin's just old. They got to move on. Gino's on the team. They lose 10 games. They lose 10 straight. We're terrible. I can't believe Carlson's still on the team. Okay. Well, now you're going to find out what life with Shea and Wotherspoon. And I like those guys. You're going to find out what that world's all about.
Well, and I would lump Letang a little bit into what you're saying about Carlson. And God knows I've been as critical of Letang as anyone. But the thing about guys like Carlson and Letang, like when they make mistakes, the whole arena notices. They don't make small mistakes. But they also do things every game we kind of take for granted because they're so talented. And those are things that help the Penguins produce a lot of offense. So without Carlson, I'm telling you, the spotlight's on number 58 the next couple of weeks.
Caleb Jones, conditioning. Maybe he'll be up.
Maybe. Might have his chance.
First thing I thought of when you texted me the Carlson thing was, you know what? They gave up on Bernicki 1 week too late. 1 week too late.
I thought about him too.
I mean, it would have been nice.
Could use a right-handed defenseman who can skate right now, huh? But he was also playing so poorly. And even in the World Juniors, I wonder if they would have wanted him back.
He didn't do. Yeah, he was not.
He's got to figure some things out for sure.
I hate whenever they have to do that at juniors. I know we've talked ad nauseum about the minor league deal getting switched around next year, but going to juniors, it's just so slow. That's not where he needs to be learning. But yeah, he's got to get his sea legs. Something happened, and I mean, he was he looked like a permanent stud. in the first 5 games of the season.
Yep.
So
I don't know where we're at the time frame, but I want to give a one shout out to my favorite player ever that was the Pittsburgh Penguin. Sergei Fedorov had his number retired.
Finally.
Yeah, and at one point was the greatest Russian of all time. And I remember when the Russian news agency voted Gino the greatest Russian of all time, and Fedorov was third. I was like, "This is incredible." Gino passed, but now we all know it has to be Ovechkin, which makes you wonder. Tonight, I think we're seeing the other Mount Rushmore guy for the Russians. I think Kucherov is right there.
Oh, he's really
hey, God. He must be dancing, looking at our blue line.
Although
he could have been shot in the head. He's like Mario. He's going to play this game no matter how dinged he is.
That's right. Although I will say, Carlson had a terrible time in Tampa against him in December. And I talked with Carlson after the game. I said, how about that Kucherov guy? Carlson's like, I've been in the league 15 years. I have no idea what to do against him. So maybe Kucherov likes playing against Carlson. No, Nikita Kucherov is a great, great player. And on the power play, I don't say this lightly, he's the closest thing to Mario and Gretzky I've ever seen on the power play in terms of seeing the ice, deception, always making the right play. It's unbelievable what he does on the power play.
I think I either said this on this show or I said it on Puck Off, but to me, and I don't say this easily, I think Macklin Celebrini is the closest thing that I've seen to Mario.
Wow.
I mean, of Mr. Fedorov, Mr. Malkin, just the witch factor, and he stole that game.
Well,
he's big and lanky, and just his presence.
What his competitor he is too. Like he's got that engine. Like I said a little bit. I will say this about Celebrini. Connor McDavid's the best player. With all due respect to what McKinnon's doing right now, this is still the era of McDavid. Happy 29th birthday to McJesus, by the way. When he's no longer the best player in the world, which usually happens by the time you get into your early to mid-30s, I think Celebrini will be the guy who passes him.
Oh, yeah.
He's really special.
I just saw the things he did last week. It was just like,
I know.
I mean, taking nothing away from Jesus, you know.
I mean, the top 3 MVP candidates right now are McDavid, McKinnon, and Celebrini, and you could make an argument for any of them.
Yeah.
You really could.
And if
the Penguins make the playoffs, Sid will get some.
Oh, absolutely. And I have one other shout I want to give to the great moment the other night at the arena. Jack McGregor, founder of the Penguins, passed away. He was 91. And there's if you catch it on Instagram or Twitter, there's a video of he goes up to Mario's box. It's the best because Mario thanks him for starting everything, and then he thanked Mario for saving everything.
No, that was it really was. I met him once. What a nice man. Oh my God. He just bet on Pittsburgh being a hockey team. Hockey town. He bet on it big, and he was right. And we're sitting here talking to you right now because of him.
Jack McGregor. And he got a nice applause. Not as big as Jeff Jimerson got, though, and I thought it was pretty
I know. Then Jeff gets the even bigger crowd pop. I'm like, jeez.
Did they just show him on camera? Like he didn't do the anthem? They just show him on camera?
No, when he emerged right after
he did the anthem. It was,
they were on him before.
Jimerson, I thought Mick Jagger walked out.
Very nice applaud for McGregor.
Yeah, it was
Jeff Jimerson.
Oh, one of the best. One of the best skits ever that your buddies at DVE did, I remember, was the Mario's Casino back in like the early 2000s when they were trying to get the casino and all that kind of stuff. And they go, well, you got Jeff Jimerson over there every night, plays Star Spangled Banner and Oh Canada, and well, that's about it. But you could anybody could go. He could sell out. Probably stage AE. He'd get at least 1,000 people. 2,000.
Jeff is an accomplished singer in a bunch of rock bands. And he used to always play my dad's club on New Year's Eve.
I never knew that one song.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't. It's a nice gig.
What's it? Airborne? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, I believe so. But
that song that plays at Christmas time.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that Mr. McGregor got a nice ovation, but the roof came off
from Mr. Jeff Jimerson.
For Jimmy, and I'll tell you the truth. I'm always a little bit when I'm there and it's not Jimerson. There's like something's a little wrong.
Throws you.
Oh, remember?
Yeah, I feel the same way when they don't have any ones. I'm sorry, I'm not balling that hard. I always like to tip. I like to tip the sax guy walking up the hill. Little good karma. But all I had was 20s the other night. And I'm like, yeah.
Speaking of this, real quick,
I'm glad we could win without him.
I know we gotta wrap up. Real quick. The sax man, his name's Reggie. Okay, Reggie has his spot where he always plays. Last few home games, there's been some guy like kind of looked like Eminem a little bit who's been rapping on a microphone. I'm thinking, Jesus, Reggie's gonna like have this guy whacked as his corner. So then I forget what it was around Christmas, one of the home games. I'm walking down the hill. Reggie and the rapper like were doing a song together.
I saw that on the way to the Steelers game.
It's unbelievable. Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're like an act now, these two. Like, this is great. This is Pittsburgh harmony here. That doesn't get it.
Better we are the world.
Yeah, it really was.
This is Ebony and Iris and Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
I was going to say to Reggie, like, you okay with this guy? I'll help you out. Like, this is your street. I'm not,
Yeah.
But, no, I like to see that they've actually become a duo.
No, that's great. Yeah, I always like to. I mean, he's been there forever. He went electric. He was like down. He used to be acoustic. Now he's going. He went electric.
Yeah.
No, I always try. And I'm like, I don't ball too hard, but I like to throw him a little. But I just all I had was 20s. But I always like. I don't. I'm gonna say I don't like. I will say. Then there's all the people like sitting on the way up to him that don't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like. Yeah, no.
He occasionally harasses them verbally, which I always enjoy.
But it makes me feel bad because one of them has a dog. And that makes me feel bad, but because I love dogs.
Yeah.
It makes me feel bad.
I know Danny's is a sponsor now, so Joe only has hundreds in his wallet.
Yeah. Sorry,
I always take care of those guys. It's so funny. Yeah, it's funny because one of my last 5, I went to the game. 5 went to the Danny's tip jar, so I didn't have a 5 because I would have given him a 5 because we need 2 points.
Yeah, you can't mess with the karma.
It's 20s for playoff games or the Flyers.
Thursday night,
if it weren't, gee, loosen up the pipes.
Well, yeah, Reggie, keep it going. Give us 4 points over the next 48 hours. And that'll do it for us here. I mean,
it's been a day.
What a day. Mike Tomlin, Benito Santiago gone. He's out of here. And it's hard to believe. And I Penguins, it's funny. On Saturday morning at my nephew's hockey game, my brother goes, man, Pittsburgh sports is in a great state. Then boom, Flames, boom, Bruins, boom, lose to the Texans.
Nah,
here we are.
It's in a good space. New horizons, new sponsors.
Everything is on the up and
yeah.
New coach is coming.
New coach. We'll find out.
Coach is coming.
Guess what? We got a lot to talk about the rest of this season because we were going to be a little dry on Steelers topics.
Yeah,
but
I think we're good.
I guess we're good. So that'll do it for us. And we appreciate you as always. And we will talk to you next week.